Hey y'all, if you don't mind, click subscribe, and if you like the video, and click the like button, and we appreciate every one of y'all. Hey y'all, Fat Man Outdoors. Man, it's hotter than all get out today. Humidity's climbing back up. We've had a couple nice days of cooler weather. I was hoping some fishing was just around the corner. I don't know, man. It's hot today. So anyway, I've been working on a portable deer blind that I'm building that I'm going to be able to pull around with old Greenie. Once I get that done, I'll show you guys what we did and explain everything how I made it. But I wanted to touch on something today. It's I didn't really want to do it, but a lot of people's asked me about this because it's opinionative, and I don't like that much because I'd rather be factual. But everybody kept asking me what my thoughts were. The question is, I guess the best way to state it is, are we putting too much emphasis on our personal defense ammo? And are we putting the emphasis in the right place? And I thought about that for a long time. You know, you see a lot of guys, they'll go out and buy run-out gauges, and they'll only load with certain powders, and they'll only load with certain bullet weights and certain bullet designs, and they want to get a pinpoint accuracy out of their AR at 350, 400 yards, and that's fine. I ain't got an issue with that. That's absolutely 100% fine. But do we necessarily need to put that much time, money, and effort into loading ammunition that's going to be for personal defense? I don't really think so. In my mind, the way I'm thinking of this, I think that probably the majority of the time you're going to have a personal defense issue, it's going to be within 50 yards. And at 50 yards, I'm not worried about accuracy. I'm worried about, is it going to go bang, and how many do I have? Because if you start worrying about accuracy, then that means you're going to take time when you got to come on target of making a good aim point, making sure you got a good sight picture, making sure you got a good stance or whatever, and wasting a lot of time while that person that you're going to have to defend yourself against may not be doing all those things and may just be shooting lead in your direction. So the way I thought through this, I thought, well, let's look at how the things that military and police look at when it comes to basically defense ammo, what they're going to be using in the field. And I come up with 5 things that I think are the biggest things that will be contributing to how and why military or police particularly pick certain ammos. Number 1, cost. If you're going to be using a lot of ammo like the military and police does, or like we do when we plank, then it's going to get expensive, because you're going to, especially nowadays, because components are out the roof, and it is coming down a little bit, but it's still pretty high to reload stuff. It's cheaper than going buying it off the shelf, but finding the stuff is still a little bit of a problem. Number 2, reliability. Now I feel like reliability missed 1 vote of being tied for cost, because it doesn't make a bit of difference how much money you spend or how much money you save on ammo. If you need it and you pull the trigger, it don't go bang. So reliability has to be right there with the same thing as cost. I'm going to say more than likely it pushed cost up a little bit to get a higher percentage of reliability, because I'm sure some of these companies that make ammo that's, you know, maybe got the name of or not exactly well known for going off, say like Wolf in their 223 back a few years ago, in their 5.56 rather. It was they had a lot of issues, man. You'd get a lot of rounds. I did. In a 1,000 round case, I had about 25 that we put multiple strikes on the primer through multiple rifles, and they would not go off. So they were just dead primers. You know, we were getting good marks in the primer, but from firing pin strikes, but no boom, and that's no good, because like say in an AR, you got to clear that and inspect real quick, make sure there's nothing else going on, put another round in the chamber, and then try to get back in the fight. And that's a lot of time wasted if somebody's trying to put lead in your direction. The other one, accuracy, and I just touched on that a minute ago. I don't feel that if I have a personal defense weapon, an AR-15, shotgun, a pistol, I don't feel that I need to have accuracy for that gun at crazy ranges. You know, it's impressive to have it, and ain't a thing in the world wrong with it. I've got some ARs in my gun vault that are dialed in to shoot 350, 400 yards. They would not be what I would grab unless I just had to in a personal defense situation. I have another AR with a lot shorter barrel, with a flashlight on contact, and not a bunch of bells and whistles to go wrong. It's got a shake awake red dot on it, and I have 2 magazines sitting right above it in the gun vault with blue tape wrapped around it that are my 100%. I guarantee you, if you pull the trigger, they're going bang ammo of 60 rounds sitting right under it. So if something happens and I got to take that rifle, I know I've got 2 reliable magazines I don't have to worry about, and I've got a rifle that I don't have to worry about, that I didn't worry about putting all this time into putting a longer barrel and putting a big optic and all that stuff on it. I wanted something that if I have to use it, I got to use it in my house or around my house to protect me and my family. Then it's going to be something that's going to be a lot smaller and a lot less worried about accuracy. Okay, now longevity. With military and police, longevity of ammo was a great concern. They had a lot of corrosive ammo years ago, and they saved a lot of money, I'm sure, by buying corrosive powders to load their ammo with from the manufacturers, having them loaded with that corrosive powder. But the problem was, when you'd use it, the cleanup was a mess, and if you didn't do a good job of cleanup, 2 or 3 months later, you had an issue with the firearm. You know, corrosive means it's corrosive. It's going to eat away at stuff. And a lot of throats and barrels, a lot of chambers, a lot of rifling got eat up by that corrosive ammo, especially in a lot of the M1 Garands and stuff like that. Got that corrosive ammo in them, and you see a lot of pitting in some of them, and that cost the government a lot of money, because then you basically got to completely retool that rifle, or just throw it away, get rid of it, destroy it, and buy another one. So the longevity, when they switched over to the non-corrosive powders, again, it's directly affecting your cost, because I'm sure that the cost of the non-corrosive powder for the military and for police was a lot more than corrosive. But it was something that you just had to eat, because you have to have storability and you have to have reliability. Now, the 5th thing that I came up with is kind of a little bit of a confusing thing, is how user-friendly is the ammo. Now, when I say user-friendly, I don't mean can you put it in a magazine easily, or how much does it weigh, or all that stuff. In particular, there's a whole bunch of different categories you could put under user-friendly. My main thing that I would come up with user-friendly is how much just carbon deposits, soot, and residues are going to be left in the weapon from firing it, so after you've used it, so that you got to break it down and clean it. Because in the field, if you've got your rifle tore apart and cleaning it, you're unarmed. You know, so if something happens and you get separated from your unit, or if you're a police officer and something happens and you get separated from your partner, and you're having to shoot multiple magazines through your handgun, or multiple magazines through your rifle, and you're getting a lot of carbon buildup in your rifle, and it causes a failure, causes a bolt to stick or something, or a case to stick in a chamber, then you're in real trouble. I mean, you literally, you're in a life and death situation, and you're left with one of 2 reasons: go to hand or run. You know, and unfortunately, most of the time, if somebody's shooting at you and running is the best thing you can do, you're in trouble. You're in serious trouble. So, what's my thoughts on how much effort and time and money should we put into self-defense ammo? Here's my thoughts. It may not be everybody's thoughts. I'm just saying it's my thoughts. Where I want to put my money at is primers. I want to make sure I got a primer that's a hot primer, that the primer will go off when I pull the trigger, and I don't have to worry about it. There's a lot of cheap primers out there. Tula makes primers, Agula is making primers. There's a lot of companies that are making cheaper primers. And I understand, you know, for plinking and stuff, that you just want to save a little money, that's great. When it comes to loading ammo, it's like my life and liberty stuff, I don't buy nothing but Federal. That's all. That's just me. I buy nothing but Federal. I have yet to have, and I'm telling you guys, I have fired thousands. I'd hate to see how many rounds piled up in one spot that I have fired, that I've reloaded. And always with Federal primers, whether it's large rifle primer, small rifle primer, large pistol primer, small pistol primer. I've used them in everything from 17 Winchester Super Mag all the way up to 5.77 450 Martini Henry. I've not one time ever had to pull the trigger on one and it didn't go off. That was related to the primer itself. We actually had an AR that was doing really light primer strikes because the hammer spring was so weak in the AR. The guy had bought one of the cheaper Radical ARs, and the hammer was, I don't know why, but it was crazy light, and it had a really soft hammer trigger. So I changed that out for him, put out a hammer here that come out of a Bushmaster, and with a really robust spring, put that in it, put the same rounds back in it that didn't fire, and pull the trigger, let it go, and there it was. But anyway, guys, I didn't want to waste a whole lot of your all's day, but here's my thinking, just full balls out. This is what I think on defense ammo. Concentrate on primers. Put that, if you're going to spend extra money on reloading your own self-defense ammo, primers. Number two, the cost of powder. That's the get you a good, dependable, hot powder that's going to send lead down range, and you know you're not going to have to worry about a squib load or something like that. Do those two things. Then when you're reloading, don't be afraid to go to the range if you've got a range local that'll let you do it, and buy and pick up brass, or buy once fired brass and reload. Guys, you save a lot of money doing it, and make your own. Don't worry about, ain't nothing wrong with run out gauges. I've got one, I use it on some rifles, but they are not self-defense rifles. Load your weapon with ammo that you know is going to go bang. If you feel like it's something that you got, a component you've got that you don't trust, don't use that component. Get one you trust. Winchesters, nothing wrong with Winchester primers either. I've shot a lot of Winchester primers, never had one fail. I've just always liked Federal primers. Biggest thing with self-defense ammo, I think, is if it's going to be something that you think you may have to use inside your house, be real careful about how much power you're using inside your house, because you'll have family members more than likely in other rooms, or a neighbor across the yard in his house, that if you get a high-powered rifle round, even some to a 5.56 or stuff like that, could penetrate walls and go through other walls. And I understand that you can't make a bullet that knows the border of the living room. I get that. But you can shoot stuff that's slowed down. Shoot soft lead, so you have a better chance of, when it hits, the first thing it hits, that's as far as it's going. Don't use copper jacketed bullets for self-defense rounds, because they are very dangerous about pass-throughs. And like I said, it's documented proof that it's been done before. People have shot an intruder inside the house, and the bullet went through the intruder, through the wall, and struck a bystander outside. Now, the issue with that is, legally, you're stuck with that. Because once that bullet leaves that barrel, you're 100% responsible for anything it destroys. 100%. And it can be a very easy manslaughter charge put on you, and you end up spending a lot of time somewhere you don't want to be because of an accident. You know, it's just the way it is. But like I say, when you're reloading your self-defense ammo, load speeds and pressures that's going to get you as slow a speed as you can possibly get. I think, this is my opinion, this is how I do it, as slow a speed as you can possibly get, where you're still going to action the weapon reliably. You ain't got to worry about a bullet getting stuck in the barrel. And once that, and you use soft lead, and once that bullet hits whatever you're shooting at, it's more than likely going to stop. It's going to flatten out, and it's going to slow down so much that if it doesn't stop and it does pass through, it's not going to pass through a wall and go through a neighbor's yard and go through their wall. And different stuff like that could cause you a real issue. But just think about stuff like that. And I know there's going to be a lot of blowback from this, because everybody's going to say, man, self-defense ammo, you want to get factory ammo and yada yada. I've had factory ammo not go off. Matter of fact, I've got a box got about 30 rounds in it over the years of factory ammo that I've put the hammer down and nothing happened. So, and I'm not saying that ammo that you load in your reloading shop can't do that. It can. It most certainly can. But I believe it would be a good thing for everybody to get in the practice of loading their ammo with those things in mind. Keep your cost as low as possible. Make sure you use reliable components. Reliable primer, reliable powder. The longevity. Don't ever use corrosive powders. Get good powders. Get name brand powders. Use your load data books. Get specific powders for specific bullets you're using. Do not use copper jacketed bullets in defensive ammo. Use lead bullets, and myself, I would use powder coated bullets and strictly lead. Some people like bullets that have a hollow point and a copper jacket. That's up to you. I use as soft a lead as I can get by with, and I powder coat it so I get a good flatten out, and the bullet ain't going to go very far. And you make sure that it's user-friendly stuff you're using, that the components you do choose to use don't leave a lot of soot and stuff in your weapon, so that there's a chance that if you have to fire multiple rounds that it's going to gum stuff up. Go to the range. Put lead through your weapon. Practice drawing. Practice coming from a front rest. Practice double taps. Practice. Understand the workings of your weapons, the controls of your weapon, the recoil of your weapon, where you got to aim to make it hit where you want it to hit. Everything. Practice with that weapon, because if it becomes a self-defense weapon, it's the only thing in the world that can save you. Guys, I hope this was a informative video. Don't mean to tick nobody off. Just some folks were asking, and this is my opinion. It is not fact. It is not gospel. It's how I feel. So y'all do what you think you need to do. Don't do what I do just because I say do it. This is the Fat Man. See y'all in the next video. We appreciate every one of y'all, and hope to see you in the next video. This is the Fat Man. I'm gone.